Good evening, everyone. It's Jeff Higgins from Higgins Storm Chasing. It's the 17th of the 2nd, 2015. Okay, we have got severe weather incoming from Rockhampton south as far as Coolangatta, and then further down into northeast New South Wales as far as probably Port Macquarie, possibly Newcastle. But our focus initially will be from Rockhampton down to Coolangatta and touching into northeast New South Wales. Okay, here is the tropical low, which is developing out in the Coral Sea, about 1,000 kilometres east of Cairns. This tropical low is forecast to track south and then southwest and cross the coast between Rockhampton and Fraser Island. We have some pretty solid model agreement with that. If it does develop further into a tropical cyclone, a strong, significant tropical cyclone, there is a chance that it may skirt outside of the Queensland coast. Okay, so rainfall totals could be halved. But at this stage, the expectation is that it tracks south during Wednesday, tomorrow, and Thursday. Start to track southwest on Thursday, impacting and crossing the central coast of Queensland on Friday. Then tracking inland, as did XTC Oswald, did the same path, and then out through northeast New South Wales. Alright, so that's the satellite imagery. You can see that the convection is starting to really peak around the tropical low now in the dark area shaded there with maximum cloud heights. I am closely watching the JTWC forecast. They track these systems quite well, as do the BOM, but they have a lot more in-depth analysis on these systems, and they are suggesting that this low is in moderate favourability to develop further into a cyclone. The models are certainly just struggling a little bit to pick up as to what strength it develops and where it tracks to. Well, they know where it tracks to, but whether it develops into a TC or not, or remains as a significant tropical low. Regardless of that, we have a trough which is forecast to develop very quickly and be quite a severe trough through southeast Queensland by Thursday morning. You can see the onshore winds pumping the cloud in now, and things are starting to develop and thicken up. So tomorrow we could start to see some scattered showers tomorrow, given this development out here already. That would be from Coolangatta north to about Bundaberg. We'll move on to the severe weather warning from the BOM. I am very grateful that these guys produced this severe weather warning so early. All right, it's about 36 to 48 hours ahead of time. Severe weather warning for damaging winds, heavy rainfall, abnormal high tides and dangerous surf. They explain where the low is and it may form across the coast, Capricornia Wide Bay on Friday. That's exactly what we expect will happen. The monsoon trough is likely to extend southwards from the low. This is what initially gives us our weather on Thursday. Queensland the coast late in the working week, resulting in severe weather near and well to the south of the low. Heavy rain, damaging winds possible from the coast and ranges between Rockhampton. Someone asked about Yeppoon. Well, Yeppoon's close enough to Rockhampton, so I'd include Yeppoon. And Brisbane from Thursday, extending down to the state's border by Friday. Heavy rain may lead to flash flooding, with some 24-hour totals in excess of 300. I just cast my eyes upon a model tonight that I can't show you because of copyright, and it forecast 1,300 millimetres in southeast Queensland in 48 hours. I'm pretty concerned about that. However, hopefully in the next update it backs off to something a little bit more manageable around that 300 to 600 mil mark. Damaging winds may reach around 90 kilometres an hour, mostly near the coastline and elevated ranges. All right, so ranges such as the top of the Great Dividing Range, Toowoomba, Warwick, any Blackbutt Range, and then further up towards Rockhampton, those sort of things. Anywhere that's elevated are going to feel the winds a lot more, and obviously exposed coastal regions feel feel these strong wind gusts. Water levels. On the high tide, likely to exceed the highest tide of the year between Rocky and the Gold Coast from Thursday onwards. That would cause inundation of low-lying areas. Now, obviously, the normal places that become inundated on a king tide may be exuberated somewhat because of the heavy rainfall and the extra not storm surge, but extra amount of water that's being pushed onto the coast from these strong winds from the southeast and the east. Okay, so something to keep a very close eye on would be those low-lying tidal areas. If you have livestock or you park your car, you know this street floods in Brisbane on a king tide, then keep that into consideration. Dangerous surf conditions and significant beach erosion. That makes me sad. Our beaches have copped an absolute hammering the last few years. I've been down there regularly and there's a lot of rock starting to show and the erosion is really starting to take its effect. I would just simply say to all boaties, don't go out between Thursday and Saturday. I'd say to all beachgoers, don't go there Thursday to Saturday. You will be endangering your life if you go in the ocean or you try and push out in a boat in these types of conditions. Rockhampton to Gold Coast on Thursday and then onwards from there. Locations that may be affected: Gold Coast, Brisbane, Maroochydore, Gympie, Bundaberg, Gladstone and Rockhampton. Now this also would extend inland some ways to the ranges. Alright, so your valleys, Lockyer Valley, Scenic Rim, further up into your Wide Bay, Burnett regions. Obviously the heavy rainfall is normally and generally focused closer to the coast, tapering off inland. However, you just never know how far these big totals could push in. Tonight I'm working with no saved images. I'm working straight off the cuff off the internet because I'm running behind time. So I'll be scrolling through in the video box. Here is the rainfall forecast totals from the BOM, issued at 6:38 AM this morning. 400 mil is as high as this model goes. And you can see there on the Sunshine Coast that is maxed out for the next 4 days. So we could get 500 or 600 there. This model is not a high resolution model. It's pretty good, but there are other higher resolution models around that suggest much higher totals than this. So as a general idea, the BOM is saying 300 mils, 24-hour totals. This one's certainly agreeing with that, anywhere from south of Rocky, Gladstone down as far as, say, Port Macquarie, 400 mils. Conservative, you're going to get higher totals. Springbrook could get smashed up to a metre of rain, and those sort of places that have elevation and orographic lifting, which enhances rainfall in exposed coastal areas. Okay, so it is quite a concerning situation. It's a concerning forecast if things play out as per what models are saying at the moment. We'll move on to the flood watch. That's something that I wanted to bring up and show you, is the flood watch. The BOM have also issued. Can't quite fit it in here, but I'll read it out to you. Initial flood watch for Capricornia, Wide Bay, Burnett, South Coast forecast districts. Heavy rain, obviously, with a trough between Rocky and the New South Wales border, Thursday till Saturday. Widespread totals 200 to 300 are forecast. Locally higher heavy rainfall. They can be doubled. If you get a stationary storm or rain area over one area for a couple of hours, they've already had 300. Next minute, they've got 600. These systems are very capable of producing up to 800 millimetres overnight. They sit there, they just smash the rain. It's like 100 mil an hour non-stop. And you know what follows that? Severe flash flooding. Weather wind damage around anomaly high tides. River rises above the minor flood level are expected from about Rocky down to the border. So they are expecting river flooding, okay? and localised flash flooding. Catchments include Dawson, Calliope, Boyne, Baffle, Colan, Burnett, Sherwell, Burrum, Mary, Noosa, Mary River, there you go, Gympie, Noosa, Maroochy, Mooloolah, Brisbane, Logan, Albert, and the Gold Coast rivers and creeks are all on flood watch. What would that mean to me? If I had livestock down in any low-lying areas from Rockhampton to the New South Wales border, I'd be moving them to high ground tomorrow. Because once that heavy rain starts and it's bucketing down, it becomes a very difficult task and job to do so. All right, any low-lying areas need to be considered with these types of forecasts and flood watches. Do expect New South Wales. I haven't checked New South Wales yet to see whether they've come on board with. No, they haven't yet. I would suspect that they will come on board tomorrow with a flood watch and a severe weather warning, possibly. We'll move on. We'll move on to. Let's have a quick look at these waves. There are significant swell forecasts to come in with this system. This is 10 o'clock on Thursday morning. Obviously, when you've got 90 km/h winds roaring on shore, you're going to have waves and swell. At this stage, the WW3 model is going for waves up to 5 metres between Fraser Island and Coolangatta. Okay, so large surf, dangerous conditions there. Don't go near it. Don't go and have a look. I'd be from the car park having a look. I wouldn't even be anywhere near the open beach. The tides. This got mentioned to me today, which I'd completely overlooked, but you can see here Brisbane. This is Pinkenba, Brisbane River, 2.7 metres on Thursday at 10 a.m. If heavy rain's falling across the city or across anywhere down the southeast coast from Rockhampton to Coolangatta on Thursday at 10 a.m. and you've got this king tide, then that again exuberates flooding conditions in low-lying areas because the water can't get away and it's backing up. Again on Friday, 2.7 metre high tide at 10 and quarter to 11 at Pinkenba. It's the same as the day before, so let's say we had heavy rain overnight Thursday and it was continuing into Friday, which is expected. Again, this could worsen flooding conditions in low-lying areas, obviously close to tidal, within about that 1 metre range. It's just an educated guess, but low-lying areas need to be very carefully considered. Let's move on to the actual charts on GFS. These are the wind charts. This is what I normally run through with everybody. Just let me get my stuff into position here, seeing as I'm doing it live. There we go. This is the 850 winds tomorrow afternoon. You can see the winds are coming onshore here. Showers, scattered showers. Now by Thursday morning, you can see this significant trough developing from Rockhampton south. That trough would enhance shower activity, starting to lead on to heavy rainfall from Rockhampton south. As the trough further develops through Thursday, you can see what it does. It moves inland and it slides south. So it will drag the heavy rain down with it toward the south. 4 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, it's down around the Gold Coast, Brisbane region. Now that's why the bomb I've set initially from Rockhampton to Brisbane on Thursday, extending in further south on Friday as that trough initially moves through. And I try and pick it up on Friday. There it is through there on Friday morning at 4 a.m. Let me roll back to Thursday at 10 o'clock. Here comes the low, the tropical low, slashed. Whether it becomes a Cat 1 TC, we don't know yet. But there's one thing that the models agree on quite well, and that is the fact that it crosses somewhere between Rockhampton and Bundy. What does this do? It brings further heavy rainfall and strong winds. You can see them wrapping around the top of the screen there, and I'll scroll on to Friday morning. 50 knots is 100 k from the northeast, so quite a strong low, and bringing heavy rain anywhere to its east and south and southwest, anywhere around the bottom arc of the low. Around here you tend to have drying weather, a few showers. So anywhere to the north of that low pressure centre would have next to no weather. Okay, it's all about south of that centre. As we progress through Friday, the low tracks inland and down the coast, down into southeast Queensland. I will mention anywhere from Rockhampton through to the border, even down into northeast New South Wales, we'll have to watch out for waterspouts. You've got turning in the winds, rotating, turning in the winds. You've got convection, which is showers and storms developing offshore, and they are coming onshore because of the steering winds are onshore. Steering winds are in the 700, and I can scroll back to Thursday and show you that they're coming onshore. All right, for some strange unknown reason, I spoke about someone tonight, the Bundaberg-Hervey Bay region is notorious for having waterspouts, so I'd be keeping an eye out there. They can cause damage. If you see them, seek shelter, stay away from windows and doors. Alright, so we scroll through to Friday afternoon, you can see the low is still quite strong, sitting over southeast Queensland there. These are the 850 winds. Again, they're drawing in all of this moisture offshore and wrapping it back around, causing heavy rainfall and strong winds. Saturday, it tends to shift offshore from northeast New South Wales. Again, they would get hit quite hard here because they're on the back side of it, so you've got all these winds driving up on the western side. There is a little bit of model disagreement. One of the bomb models is saying that this low actually becomes very slow moving through southeast Queensland and then bobbles around here until Sunday. We just don't quite know that yet. It doesn't matter regardless. Initially, we've got the trough, which is coming through on Thursday, delivering that heavy rainfall, and then in comes the low. It is a dead set double whammy. I haven't quite seen anything like it with this trough preceding a low. So whereas we could have got 300 mils from the trough, now we're looking like 600, and totals could go up from there if we have any localised stationary issues. One model tonight spat out 1300. I don't want to know about that because I won't even tell you where it was, but we don't want to see that. We will be passing on we'll be passing on what warnings we can from the bomb severe weather warnings and flood watches. I've told you earlier on in the video prior where to go for roads and information, local council sandbagging. Quick Queensland Alert has all of your council websites and that sort of thing. I'd like to reinforce to the people of Bundaberg and Lockyer Valley that there is an abundant amount of information now available across the webs, and make sure you have your radio, turn on ABC radio. You're going to get all the bomb warnings and any emergency alerts that may occur. I'm not saying that they're going to, but it's just something that you want to be prepared with. Obviously, flash flooding is the major issue for a start, whereas you get heavy rainfall for a couple of hours and all of a sudden you've got a metre of water across a road. Places, your larger rivers take a couple of days and can be forewarned a lot better with time if the major rivers start to have any major flooding occur in them. It's your smaller creeks, streams, rivers, causeways, roads, low-lying areas that are at risk right now with this forecast. Okay? So that needs to be considered by people who live in these areas. Local knowledge is good here. If you get a couple of 100 mil and it floods at Joe Blow's corner down the road, then there's a good chance that from this system there'll be some flash flooding around in those sort of areas. If you wake up on Thursday morning or Friday morning and it's been raining overnight and you hit the road, slow down. You're not going to be able to see water that's across the road. You won't know how much rain's fallen overnight because you've been asleep. I've seen it time and time again. At 6 a.m. in the morning, I'm pulling out 3 and 4 cars from a flooded causeway because they didn't know it was there. It is a mistake, and they've driven straight into it. There will be no doubt road closed signs up for any roads that are flooded. The SES, police, council, emergency service workers will be doing their best to get road closure signs up should roads become an issue. We'll pass on any the Department of Emergency Management, EMQ. We'll pass on any evacuation warnings or significant warnings. Any media releases will be passed on. So please check the HSC page regularly. Don't just wait for it to hit your newsfeed. Come over and have a look to see what information is down the page. We are getting bombarded by private messages already, and I don't want to turn them off. But if we can't keep up, because we're answering questions that are already answered on the page from post, then I'll have no option but to turn them off, because it's taking up valuable administration resources when we've got a system like this we need to focus on. So please head to the page and have a look through. Help each other out in comments if you see a question that you may be able to help someone answer. Help us to help them. There's only 8 of us here. We work, so we're going to be on and off. We will dedicate as much time as we can to keeping you updated. However, if you can help your mates, that's what it's all about. Mates helping mates in this country. We're tough. We've been here. We've done it before. XTC Oswald threw everything it had at us. We survived. Worst case scenario could be something similar. All right. So prepare now. Get your sandbags ready. Have your plan in place. Don't travel if you don't need to. Keep an eye on bomb warnings, our warnings, whatever warnings you can get a hold of, any information. All right, it's all systems go. Heads up. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back sometime tomorrow, maybe tomorrow night. There'll be obviously text and warnings and graphics and maps being shared up to the page. And the forecast videos will remain at night time when I finish work. If I'm rained off on Thursday and Friday, you'll see an increase in videos. Push notifications will be sent out to our HSC app users of any major events as well. All right, stay safe, guys. Let's get through this one.